So GT writing task 1 is also known as your letter writing. This is the third subtest in the IELTS. Right after you're done writing, there are no breaks given in between. So the difference between ACAD and GT is that academic need to do a statistical report writing, which is essentially the same with the number of time and number of words included for both. Remember that for your writing task, you are given an hour to finish both. Writing task 2, you need to allot 40 minutes to finish it, and writing task 1, 20 minutes. Why do we have an imbalanced number of time for both? Well, it's because your task 2 requires more words to finish, hence, it will definitely require more time to do so. That's why in the actual exam, I also recommend doing task 2 first in the actual test. Why? Because task 2 carries more weight. It carries as much as 70% of your total writing rate. It carries 67% the exam. So remember that your writing task 2 will be multiplied by 2 before added by the raw score of task 1. That is how much the bearing of task 2 is. So let's say, for example, you managed to get an 8 in task 2 and only a failing score of 5. If you add them together, this will still produce a very impressive band 7. So you need to perform better in task 2 than in task 1. Now, letter writing, of course, we don't want to score such low band score in your task 1. That's why we have to equally give importance to them. Your task 1 is to compose a letter which you need to request or give information and or to explain the problem. You need to also be able to do any of the following: ask for and or provide general factual information, express needs, wants, likes, or dislikes, even expressing opinions and complaints, and making requests, suggestions, or recommendations are all fairly similar tasks. If you are good at providing information, then you're halfway through passing the test. So these are some of the examples of writing narratives that you must be good at. By the way, by the end of this lecture, I will be sharing with you everything na nandito as PDF. So itong lahat na to ay naka-PDF na. Actually, hindi na nga siya naka-presentation, naka-PDF na nga ito. Drop ko lang sa drive ko, send ko sa inyo yung link. So now, here's the problem. Here's the problem. Here is the problem with the narratives indicated in your writing task. Writing to a renting agency to sort out problems with the heating system of house. Sir, what's your name? Nakasa dulo. Jesus. Na-try mo na ba magsulat ng letter? Tapos in-address mo to sa renting agency dahil nagka-problema ka sa heating system ng bahay. Hindi pa? Bakit? Resignation letter, nakapag-try ka na. Eh, yung tungkol sa heating system, nakapag-try. Hindi pa. Bakit? Kasi unang-una, nasa Pilipinas tayo. Utang ina, kahit nasa Baguio ka pa, hindi ka mag-heating system sa hayop na yan. Oh. Pero ito ay mga may encounter nyo pag nasa ibang bansa. For example, nasa Canada ka. Ang topic dyan, meron daw pulang kotse na nakapark malapit sa neighborhood nyo. Parang sa kanto lang, dulo. Tapos, 5 araw na yun doon. Tapos may mga sira siya. So, susulat ka doon sa local government para itow na nila yung car na yun. Paalis. Kasi baka pwedeng sumabog yun or whatever. Pwede siya maging health hazard or danger risk. No? So, ibig sabihin, ang daming mga topic dito sa writing na hindi natin naranasan sa totoong buhay. At baka nga hindi natin maranasan sa buhay natin ni isang beses eh. So, ang lahat po ng ito, tinatawag nating narrative, ay make-up stories lang. O mga fictitious. Sa Tagalog, sinungalingan. Sino magaling magsinungaling? Teka, mga kaibigan ko lang yan. 2.5 lang ginastos ko dyan sa sapatos na yan. No? So kung isang nuknukan ka ng sinungaling, you're halfway you're halfway through passing the test. Malapit ka nang pumasa. Unang-unang requirement dyan, sinungaling ka. No? Okay? So mga politicians, magaling dyan. Tapasa sila dyan. Yes, gagawa ka lang ng kwento. Totoo. Kasi hindi mo naman naranasan talaga yan eh. Di ba? Kaya sabi ko nga, ang saya ng ituro ng GT, di ko bet ituro yung ACAD. Kasi ito gawa-gawa lang. So ito po yung makikita nyong narrative. So first, i-breakdown natin yan. Ang tawag po sa lahat na to ay task description. So from everything that you are seeing here right now, we call this the task description. So breakdown natin yung anatomy niya. So in your task description, we have a reminder of how much time you are to complete the letter, 20 minutes. Sabi natin, gawin mo to during the last part. Then, there is the narrative of your letter that you must execute well later. This is the main topic, followed by 3 bullet points. Reminder of how many words you are to complete, and special instructions, basically on how to begin your letters. So yun po ang anatomy ng letter writing task description. Lahat po yan ay magpe-play ng napakahalagang role para sa inyong pagpasa. So in writing, we commonly assess your performance based on task response, coherence, cohesion, vocab, grammar. We also do the same thing here. But we could summarize everything into 3 areas. They are the responsiveness, the tone, and structure for your task response and coherence. So what is responsiveness? Basically, responsiveness answers the question, were you able to complete your task? Meaning you did not miss any important detail or you did not misinterpret a bullet point, because missing 1 bullet point, tingnan nyo po ano nakalagay. If you misunderstand or omit any bullet point, you will receive a grade of 4 for task achievement. Napaka-simple. Iskora na ito. Nakalagay dun sa question kanina. Diba? Write a letter to the accommodation agency. Describe the situation. Explain your problems. And there's a bullet point saying what kind of accommodation you would prefer. You failed to insert this in your letter. Hindi mo to nailagay. Ano daw score mo sa TR? 4. Ilang kailangan mo para makapag-Canada? Makakapunta ka ba sa Canada kung mamimiss yung bullet point? Hindi. So, madali si letter writing, pero ang buhay mo dyan nakasalalay sa bullet. Dahil may hindi ka maintindihan dyan o may hindi ka mailagay na bullet point, you will receive a grade of 4. Which is a failing score. No matter how letter-like your letter is, no matter how complete everything is, all the recipe was there, but 1 bullet point miss, fail. Sayang. Nakuha? So, saan nakasalalay ang pagpasa? Sa bullet point. So, if you have tried taking the pen and paper based exam, or if you are interested in taking the pen and paper based test, ito po ang answer sheet natin. So in the past, we literally write them. Kaya writing ang topic. Writing ang tawag sa subtest. Pero ngayon, may option na tayo na mag-computer based test. So basically, hindi ka na magsusulat. Anong gagawin? Ta-type mo na yung sagot mo sa computer. Kaya kung magpapacoach po kayo at kayo po ay computer based test taker, i-type mo yung sagot mo sa computer. Tapos, ipa-check mo sa app. Kuha. Okay. Yung iba, nagpupunta dito, sir, ito po yung aking letter, nakalagay sa cellphone, nakalagay sa laptop, wala namang problema. Pero ang hirap kasing i-check eh. Kapag kasi physical copy yun, pwede kong bilugan, pwede ko siyang sulatan. So, may isa, nagdala ng iPad, again, pwede ko yung i-edit kasi nga iPad, hindi naman lahat. May kakayahang bumili ng 80,000 worth na Mac Air iPad. Diba? So, i-print nyo kung kaya. Malinaw? Okay. So, ito po yung assessment criteria natin. So, we have the examiner 1. Ito po yung kanyang assessment boxes. Kapag computer-based, hindi mo makikita yan kasi nga, by the end of the test, tapos na yun, yung answer sheet mo dun eh. Wala ka na makikita ng ganyan. So, ba't dalawa yung examiner? Yung isa po ay para sa recheck. Just recently, meron tayong isang estudyante na nagpa-recheck. Sa is ang kanyang speaking, sa is ang kanyang writing, parehong tumaas from 6 to 6.5. Nagbayad lang siya ng recheck. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Ang examiners kasi ay mga tao din. So, ibig sabihin, ang tao, kanya-kanya ng panlasa. Pwedeng sa akin, bagsak yung writing mo, sa examiner B, examiner 2, sabi. So, why not take the chance? Malay mo naman, lumusok. So, sa akin ha, mga nasa 90% na nagpaparecheck, tumataas. Hindi lahat, hindi ko sinasabing lahat na nagpaparecheck ay tumataas ang score. Kasi kung nagparecheck ka, at ang number of words mo ay under length, may penalty na 1 yan, may nakalimutan ka na bullet point, 4 yan, ang baba na agad ng score. So, hindi ko po sinasuggest ang recheck kapag number 1, under length. No to recheck if under length, you're not confident, hindi ka kumpiyansa, at sa tingin mo mahirap yung topic, and you missed bullet point or points. Kasi pag dalawang bullet point ang na-miss mo, stress na ang magiging TA. Lalong wala ka ng kapag-apag-asa. So, doon ka wag magpaparecheck kasi nag-aaksaya ka lang ng pera. So, responsiveness is an important area to be considered because if you miss a bullet point, if you misunderstand a bullet point, you can get a feelings for 4 or even 3 for that matter. So you need to understand the importance of that criteria. For tone, this is the most important criteria. So something mas importante pa to. Tone o tono ng letter. Ano daw ba natin sinaset yung tone? Set by the would-be recipient. Tanong tayo dito sa Zoom. Bernadette, nakasalalay ba sa akin kung ano ang magiging tone? Yes or no, Bernadette? Sabi ni Bernadette, yes po. Ang sagot ni Bernadette ay mali. Dahil ang tone, Bernadette, makinig ka ha, is set by the would-be recipient. Ano ba ang Tagalog ng recipient? Ang Tagalog ng recipient, Jenaline Matias. Okay, hayaan niyo si Jenaline. Yung turuan. Kayo ba si Jenaline? Jenaline Matias, ano ba ang Tagalog ng recipient? Mo i-google yan, Jenaline, ha? Receiver. Tagalog nga eh. Anong Tagalog na recipient? Receiver? Kukurutin kita eh. Oh. Jenaline, ano? Would-be recipient. Ano daw ang Tagalog na recipient? Receiver. Pumasok ka, Jenaline, ng Sabado, kukurutin kita. Nasabi ko sa'yo. Ano? Jenaline, anong Tagalog ng recipient? Tatanggap. Yung tatanggap ng sulat. Oh, ibig sabihin, kaya Bernadette, wala akong powers na i-determine yung tone kasi ang tanging may powers ay yung tatanggap. Okay, Bernadette ha? Bernadette, Jenaline, Edwin, John Ray, Liz Ann, at sa mga umattend dito sa live discussion natin, yung pong tatanggap ang may kakayahan na mag-determine ng tone. Okay, hindi ko siya pwedeng baguhin. Hindi siya pwedeng gawing ganito o ganito. Dahil yan ay nakadepende sa kung sino ang tatanggap. To be exact, who is the recipient of your letter? Paano natin malalaman sino yung tatanggap? Paano malalaman sino yung tatanggap? Oo, paano malalaman? Nakalagay saan? Sa task description. Sige nga, hanapin nyo dyan kung sino yung tatanggap ng sulat. Pakihanap dyan, sino po yung recipient ng sulat? Hindi. Admin, hindi. Landlord, guhula lang kayo eh. Nakalagay oh. Wala kang babaguhin dyan. Fix yan eh. Accommodation officer. Write a letter to. Ibig sabihin, sulatan mo si accommodation officer. So, sino ang recipient dyan? Si accommodation officer. So, dahil dyan, na alam ko na si accommodation officer ang aking susulatan, malalaman ko kung anong tone ang babagay sa letter ko. At sa letter, may dalawa po tayong tone. Formal at informal. Yan. Okay? Formal at informal. So, sino daw magde-determine kung ang letter ay formal at informal? Recipient. Saan mo makikita si recipient? Sa task description, sa main narrative. Hanapin mo yung write a letter to. Kung sino yung susulatan, siya ang recipient, siya ang magde-determine ng tone. Si informal, gumuhit ka ng bilog, ilagay mo dyan si F, at si F, yan po ang iyong informal. So, sino ba si F at si F? Siya po si family and friends. So, kapag ang susulatan mo ay family member or friends, informal yan. Bigyan nyo nga ako ng halimbawa ng family member and friend na susulatan para maging informal. Kapatid, father, sir, family and friend, susulatan. Relatives, sinong relatives? Uncle, di ba? Or write a letter to your uncle inviting him to your birthday party next week. Oh. Di ba? Write a letter to your family and friend. We will write an informal letter. Si formal, lahat ng nasa labas ng family and friends. Write a letter to accommodation officer, write a letter to the librarian, write a letter to the bus company, write a letter to the airlines, write a letter to the management of the grocery store, write a letter to the store, write a letter to your teacher, write a letter to your boss. Lahat po yun ay formal. Sa exam, anong mas malabas? Formal or informal? Formal. Paano nyo nalaman? Formal is the most common in the IELTS exam. Gaano ka-common? Sa tatlong formal, may isang informal. So kung meron tayong 8 PC dyan, 6 dyan formal, 2 informal. Letter. So ganung mas malabas. So pag magpa-practice ka, anong mas dapat mong pag-practicean? Formal, informal? Formal. Pero dahil ba doon, hindi ka na dapat gumawa ng informal? Magawa pa rin. Dahil di natin alam, chance, baka sa'yo matapat yung informal. Eh di mo ginawa. Matutulad ito sa isang estudyante. Hindi pinagandaan yung isang topic. Nakuha. So, formal. So ngayon, sabihin nyo sa akin, kung formal or informal, ha? Write a letter to your classmate. Depends. Anong context? Like thanking him for giving you time with your homework. Diba? Write a letter to the head of the convention. Formal. Write a letter to the Attorney General. Formal. Write a letter to the HR. Formal pa rin. Write a letter to your neighbor. Formal. Bakit? Kapitbahay. Sa atin kasi sa Pilipinas, sasanay tayo na yung neighbor natin ay personal nating kakilala. So, nasasama siya sa friends. Di ba? Pero sa ibang bansa, lalo sa America at sa Canada, walang pakialamanan dyan. Ang mga kapitbahay nila talagang kagalit nila madalas, no? Nagdedemandahan yan. Lalo na kung ang topic mo is write a letter of apology to your neighbor due to the noise you caused last week. So formal yun kasi nag-apologize ka. So you need to understand the context palagi. Okay? Basta family and friends, informal. Kapag formal, outside of your family and friend circle. Ang mas common si formal. Anong pinagkaiba nila? So, ngayon na ipapakita ko sa inyo paano gumawa ng introduction, paano gumawa ng body, paano gumawa ng salutation. Papakita ko dito sa kaliwa yung formal. Dito. Papakita ko naman sa kanan yung informal. Lagi ha, para makita niyo yung comparison. Kasi you may not expect kung ano ang lumabas sa exam. So pag formal, keep your letter precise. Ibig sabihin, huwag kang paligoy-ligoy, direct to the point. Answer all the bullet points because if you miss one bullet point, you fail. Goodbye, 13,000 pesos. Do not abbreviate words. Use contractions. Cannot, will not, do not, I am. Kapag informal, pwede kayo magkwentuhan. Kasi nga, naturally, kakilala mo naman yon, like mother mo, grandmother mo, uncle mo. So, pwede kang, like, kamustahan, di ba? Inquire of the well-being of your recipient. You're free to digress. Pwede kang magpaligoy-ligoy and abbreviations are fine. Actually, even though we welcome abbreviations, the main concern of abbreviation is that yung won't, one word yan. Si will not, two words yan. So, kung kakapusin ka ng words due to the content, I suggest, huwag ka na lang mag-abbreviate. Ang kailangan po natin dyan, meron tayong tinatawag na continuity. Dapat kung naka-abbreviation ka sa informal, from start to finish, abbreviated lahat yan. Kung hindi naman, hindi. Dapat from start to finish, hindi ka naka-abbreviate. So structure, ito po ang parts ng letter. We have the opening statement, introductory paragraph, middle paragraphs, action paragraphs, concluding, closing statement, and signature. Ang dami, no? Kaya kapag may nagpapa-chat sa akin, nagpapa-check ng kanilang writing, especially letter, papa-check 3 paragraph. Sabi ko, hindi ka umatan ng klase, no? Opo, sir. Ang tapang mo naman. Hindi ka umatan ng klase, gumawa ka ng writing. Susubok lang po, sir. O sinubukan mo, pero mali. Bakit? Parts pa lang. Dami na. So pag hindi nakita yan ng examiner, anong score mo sa task response? 5. Anong score mo sa coherence? 4. Papasabayan? Pwede. Kung 4.5 ang total niyan, kung hahatakin ng score mo ng writing task 1 mo, writing task 2 mo 5, 5.5, pwede kang ma-5. Eh kung sa isang kailangan mo, hindi kaya. Diyan pa lang sa parts, malalaman na. Isang tingin pa lang ng examiner, alam na nila. Papasa ko ba to o hindi? So sa opening statement, it depends on the instruction and the task description. Sa opening statement, it depends on the instruction and the task description. So kung nakalagay po sa instruction, begin your letter with Dear Sir / Madam, comma. Pag ang ginawa mo is Dear Sir / Miss, tapos colon. Ito yung instruction, ito yung ginawa mo, mali ka na agad, opening statement pa lang. We do not want to be judged as early as the opening statement because it gives a very false impression to the examiner na, hala, umpisa pa lang, di na sumusunod ng instruction. So pag-iinitan na niya lahat ng parts ng letter. So, even yung comma, o kung inilagay niya dyan colon, kokopyahin mo. Eh, sir, sobrang masunurin ko po eh. Nakalagay, dear blank. Talagang dear blank ko yan. Sabi mo, sir, kopyahin ko, maski comma, maski colon, pati blank, kinopya ko, sir. O, lalong mali dyan. Anong ibig sabihin ng blanco? You have to be the one to fabricate. Again ha, fabricate, gawa-gawa lang to. The name for the blank. At dahil ito po ay nasa formal ba tayo? Yes. Kapag formal, full name basis, Mr. John Doe. Pwede bang last name lang? Miss Bellum. Mrs. De la Cruz. Pwede ba yan? Yes. Formal eh. Nakalagay, write a letter to the librarian. Hindi mo naman alam yung totoong pangalan ng librarian. Magpo-full name basis ka ba? Hindi. Hindi mo alam sino naka-duty dun eh. So, kahit dear blank pa siya, pinaka-safe pa rin si dear sir / madam. Comma. Nakuha? That is how you open the formal statement. Opening statement of your letter. Dear given name, it must be full, lalo kung naka-dear blank. Kapag informal, you may be instructed, mas madalas po sa informal yung dear blank. So dahil dear blank, sa informal, dear Uncle, naman Uncle Sam, there yun naman. Dear Cousin Jake. Nanay mo, dear ma. Kuha. Bawal buuin yung pangalan. Bakit? Pag binuo mo yung pangalan dyan, hindi na magmumukhang informal yan. Di ba? Tatawagin mo ba yung nanay mo sa Dear Hermenegilda P. Manalastas? Hindi naman di ba? Nanay mo yun eh. Oh. Tanong sa opening statement. Bernadette, Edwin, Jeneline, John Ray, and Liz. May tanong po. Pag wala ha, proceed na ako dito sa introduction. Remember ha, pwede kayong mag-chat anytime kasi how yung feature ng ating mute, unmute at saka start ng video button. So hindi kayo makakapag-mute, unmute. Chat lang po ang gagamitin natin to communicate. So introduction, ito po ang pinakamahalagang part. Guys, dito kayo makinig ha. Tingin lang po dyan sa board. Dito po kayo kailangan makinig. Talaga. Dahil pag ito, dito pa lang nagkamali ka na, yari na. Tapos ang pangarap. Try again, meron pa naman. Pero sayang kasi itong pagkakataon na. For the formal introduction, you begin with introducing who you are without saying your name. Is it difficult to do? Tell me. Liz, is it difficult to introduce who you are without saying your name? Actually, that's counterintuitive. Paano magpapakilala sa akin si Liz? Kung di niya babanggitin yung pangalan niya. Nakabuwang yan. Diba? So, unang beses mong ma-encounter, sir, ninagago mo ba ako? How can I possibly introduce who I am? So, I'm not going to mention my name. It's counterintuitive, if you ask. So, for formal letters, we can do this easily by referring to the task description, and understanding what character must you play. What character are you going to get into? Sino ka dun sa letter? Ano ka dun? So nakalagay dyan sa letter ha? Nakalagay. You are a student and would like to have your room changed from the west heading to the north wing of the university dormitory. Write a letter to the headmistress of the department of your college to make this happen. So, sino ka dito? Who are you? Who are you? Or what is your character? Student. Yes. So, you are a student. Kaya naman, pag nag-introduce ka ng letter, good day. I am a student. Napakasimple ho ba? Andali, di ba? So, paano ako mag-i-introduce without saying my name? I need to refer to the task description so that I can understand what role do I play in this letter. Nakalagay dyan, you rode a bus last week. Your suitcase was damaged. Write a letter to the bus company telling them about the incident. So, sino ka doon? Passenger. Di ba? I am a passenger. Oh, bumili ka ng cellphone. May mga defects yung cellphone na nabili mo. I'm a customer. Careful lang sa spelling ng customer dahil madalas marami nagkakamali sa spelling ng customer, naging costume instead of customer. Magre-request ka daw sa HR na maging work from home ka. Employee. Diba? Sino ka? Anong role yung ginagampanan mo doon? Doon mo sisimulan ang letter. Good day, I am a customer who bought a mobile phone last week. Yan ang una. At ito yung wag na wag mong kakalimutan na part. Yung purpose. Kalimutan mo na lahat. Wag na wag mong kakalimutan yan. Yung purpose ng letter. So, ibig sabihin, yung introductory paragraph ay binubuo po ng 2 hanggang 3 pangungusap. Sa formal, yung una dyan is who you are without saying your name. Because doing something would be counterintuitive since we will be mentioning our name later. So what are you going to do is introduce who you are by referring to your character. And then the most important one being the purpose. At paano po ba yung gawin? Ayan po, nagbigay na ako ng mga halimbawa. I am writing to plus verb. I am writing to ask you about. I am writing to complain about. I am writing to request. I am writing to invite you. I am writing to tell you. I am writing this letter. Lagi ko. Second. Pag wala niyan, huwag ka nang umasang makasing kumuhin. Okay? Umasa. Pamigay mo na lang yung president sa amin. Kasi mag-exam. Gatsaya ka lang ng oras. Gatsaya ka lang ng results. Para po pala pumasa sa writing, particularly sa task 1, letter, kailangan may purpose yon. At para gumawa ng purpose, ganito pa. I am writing this letter because. Anong dahilan? Ba't ka nagsulat ng letter? Halimbawa, di ba? You are a customer who bought a mobile phone last week. So, anong katuloy niyan? I am writing a letter because I found out that the device has defects and I would like to return it or get a refund from it. Tapos, or replacement. Magpapalit ka daw ng room. I'm writing this letter to request for your good office to change my accommodation. I'm writing to apologize for the noise I caused last week. So, hindi po mabubuhay ang letter nyo pag wala itong purpose. Tanong sa formal. Bernadette, Edwin, Jeneline, John Ray, and Liz. May mga tanong ba kayo sa ating formal introductory part? Kung wala.
Formal, sir.
Sige.
Kaya hindi natin ilalagay yung
Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. So we do not introduce ourselves with names because we are actually saving it for later. And when I say later, we're actually saving it for the signature name and title. So now, let's talk about the informal section. Wala pong mababago doon sa purpose. Ang informal ay meron pa ding purpose. Yun nga lang, hindi na tayo magpapakilala. You do not introduce who you are. Bakit? Nakakasira kasi ng bait yan eh. Alam niyo kung bakit? Sipin mo, susulat ka ng letter, ganito. Dear Mother, I have been your son for the past 32 years. And I wrote this letter to inquire about some financial assistance as I have been struggling with my salary this month. Nanay mo, ganyan ka makipag-usap? Nakakasira ng bait yan. So, hindi ka nagpapakilala. Bakit? Ba't di ka nagpapakilala? Eh, kilala ka na eh. Kilala mo na eh. So, ano ipapalit natin doon? Anong papalit natin sa do not introduce who you are? Nakalagay ito sa third bullet point. You can just write down how you are doing or perhaps you may inquire about how your reader is doing. Inquiry ang ipapalit natin. Hi, Ma. How are you? I hope you and Dad are doing okay. I am doing just fine here in Alberta, despite the cold weather here right now. Anyway, I wrote this letter to let you know that James and I will get married next year. Exclamation point. Yeah. Ganyan po ang sample informal letter. Palitan ng, kamusta na kayo? Sana okay lang kayo dyan ni Dad. Ako okay naman dito sa Alberta. Medyo malamig nga lang ngayon dito kasi winter. Nga pala, sumulat ako ng letter kasi kakasal na kami ni James. Write down how you are doing or perhaps you may inquire about how your reader is doing. Kamustahan. Pero nandun pa rin yung, hindi pa rin mawawala yung purpose. Okay? It should be fixed. Nasa dulo yan ng letter. Mapa-formal or informal, pag walang purpose, pamigay mo na lang yung pera mo. Middle paragraphs. Anong sabi sa atin sa umpisa ng lecture? Never miss all the bullet points. I'll give you a trick. There's a tip here. Yung bullet points, tatlo yan. Diba? 3. So bullet point 1, bullet point 2, bullet point 3. Si bullet point 1 and 2, usually yan yung mga detalye ng nangyari o pangyayari doon sa narrative ng sitwasyon. Si bullet point 3, yan kadalasan yung action. Action, you want the recipient to undertake or perhaps your own action, especially if you are at fault in the imaginary scenario. And this is a letter of apology. So si bullet point 1 at si bullet point 2, may mga pagkakataon na mas madali kang mag-survive kung paghihiwalayin mo ng paragraphs yan. Okay? May ilang bullet point ka? 3. 1 bullet point, 1 paragraph. Another bullet point, another paragraph. Action paragraph, 3rd bullet point. Summary and closing, signature name and title. Tapos ang letter. Nakuha. So nakadepende po yung nilalaman ng bullet point sa narrative of the context that you want to include in the letter. Action, as I've mentioned, this is the action you want the recipient of the letter to undertake, or if appropriate, your action, you need to invent details here. For the concluding paragraph, it is always polite by saying thank you for taking time reading the letter. Say how they can get in touch with you again if necessary, if needs feedback. Do not apologize if you're making a formal complaint. So bakit ka magsasorry? Ikaw nga nagrereklamo. Diba? And of course, never ever apologize for having written the letter. I'm sorry for writing this letter to you. No, because if we're going to do that, you shouldn't have written the letter in the first place. So it really doesn't make sense. So, kailan ka lang mag-apologize na I'm sorry, I would like to personally apologize. Kapag nakalagay sa instruction mismo, sa bullet point nakalagay, apologize for any inconvenience you have caused. So, that's the time that you would write something like, I would like to take this opportunity to apologize on behalf of my family for any inconvenience we have caused you for the last week, since our house is being renovated, which caused a lot of noise, and your baby was not able to fall asleep for the past week. Rest assured that this will not happen again since the renovations are complete. Yun ang nakalagay. So, yun ang ilalagay. In the concluding paragraph, if you want to ask for a reply, you can also indicate by saying, I look forward to hear from you. Please do not hesitate to call me if you need more information, and please feel free to write to us if. You can also give another way to get in touch with you, like writing your email or giving your phone number. And again, para doon sa apologizing, pwede mo rin siyang i-isama. So, bigay ako ng example ng conclusion. Again, yung middle paragraph po, kaya hindi pa po ako nagbibigay ng example, mamaya ko yan kakanain. Dahil wala pa tayong sinusundang bullet point. Again, heavily dependent po yan sa bullet point. So, sa concluding paragraph, usually may script na yan. Ilalagay mo dyan, thank you for taking time reading my letter. I hope to hear from you with some good news regarding my inquiry. Please do not hesitate to call me if you have updates regarding this matter. Here is my mobile number, 0943-576-3412. So pag binilang mo yan, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, plus yung number, isang buo yan, 41. So, kaya mo nga gumawa ng 50 dito, plus yung 30 mo sa introduction, meron ka ng 60. Oh, ilan na lang bubunuin mo? Nasa mahigit 100 na lang. 90, more than 90. Kaya na yun sa body. Lalo na may action paragraph ka pa. Pati po yung mga dear sir, madam, tsaka yung sincerely, pangalan, kasama yun sa binibilang. So, madaling tapusin to. Nakita mo naman, no? Kapag gumawa ka ng letter, nasa iyo na tong handout na to, pwede ka nang puzzle na lang to eh. Ikaw na lang bahala mamili ano yung isasalpak mo dyan eh. So, minsan nagsasalit-salit ako kung ang gusto ko sincerely, walang problema. Kung sincerely yours, okay lang din. Faithfully yours, walang problema. Wag lang magkakamali sa mga spelling ha. At please, wag na wag pong kakalimutan yung comma. No, dear sir / madam, dear Uncle John, dear sir / madam, wag kakalimutan yung mga comma. Okay? Spelling ng customer. Yung I, malaki yan. Kahit saan mo ilagay. Umpisa, gitna, dulo. Capital letter yan palagi. Kapag naman informal, pwedeng missing you, much love, love and kisses, hugs, love. Usually, ginagamit ko si love. Kapag relative. Kapag friend, best wishes naman ang ginagamit ko. Best wishes. Yan. Comma. Kakalimutan. Pag walang comma, minus sa grammar.
Yung sa mga bullet points, part na yung introduction. First, first bullet point.
Hindi.
So, after introduction, ito ako naman.
Yes. So may question po dito sa branch, yun daw bang introduction ay part ng bullet point? Hindi po. So ang bullet point, iba ang target niya. Ang nilalagay mo sa bullet point, purpose ng letter, which is nandun sa main theme, nakalagay, write a letter to the accommodation officer about what? At yun naman nilalagay mo sa introductory purpose. Yung unang bullet point, paano sir pag may nakalagay sa bullet point? Introduce yourself. Nakalagay unang bullet point, introduce yourself. Nag-introduce ka na sa umpisa. Anong gagawin? Magre-reintroduce ka pa ba? Hindi na. Because your write-up will appear silly. Paano ako, sir, mag-highlight nung introduce myself bullet point? Ano gagawin mo naman doon? Doon ka magdadagdag ng detail. Add supporting detail. Halimbawa, doon sa bus kanina. Diba? Nakalagay doon, your suitcase got damaged. So, nag-introduce ka, introductory paragraph, good day, I'm one of your passengers. Last week, I wrote this letter because I would like to make a complaint about my damaged suitcase. Oh, introduce yourself. Last week, dagdagan na ng detalye. I rode your bus with body number 88021, plate number NVC 80299 from Angeles, Pampanga, heading towards Gapan City in Nueva Ecija. I have always chosen your bus company to take me to and from Angeles City. And this is the first time I encountered a problem. Una pa lang to. Nagdagdag ka lang ng detalye, nakapag-introduce ka pa rin. Sa signature name and title, kapag formal, buong pangalan yan. So, ilalagay mo sa dulo, sincerely, Kevin Mangulabnan. Dulo, pwede pang naglagay, student. Employee. Yeah. So, anong position mo sa company? Pwedeng assistant, supervisor. Or store manager. Kasi nga, nag-resign ka na eh. Okay? Pag informal, best wishes. John, capital letter pa rin. Wala na sa dulo. Pag informal. Nickname lang, first name. Huwag na may nickname, pot-pot. Huwag na may ganun. Okay? Dear Tantan. Huwag naman yung mga ganong pangalan. No? Medyo gawin nyo namang konting pinag-isipan. Okay. So, sample. Respectfully, sincerely. Pag formal, ha? Pag informal, truly, pwede rin sa formal. Pag informal, much love, missing you, hugs and kisses, best wishes, love. Yan. Ako, best wishes pag friends. Madalas gamitin. Ayan, sample na natin ito. Don't encourage which you share with another student. However, there are many problems with this arrangement and find it very difficult. So, susulat ka ng letter to the accommodation officer. So, dear sir/madam, because you don't exactly know who or what the name of the person is. So, anong susulat mo dyan? Nung problema ka daw dun sa kasama mo sa kwarto. Siyempre, mag-iimbento ka, di ba? Para magmukhang siya masama at ikaw ang mabuti. Tama ba? Okay. Ano kaya mga sitwasyon na pwede mong ilagay dyan? Makalat, maingay, di ba? Pwede mo dyan ilagay, my roommate is very noisy and does not cooperate in cleaning the room. To make matters worse, he even invites his friend and they play card games until dawn. So my sleep is being affected because I cannot get 8 hours of sleep because I get interrupted. So sabi dyan, explain your problem and why it's difficult to work. Punta ka sa susunod na paragraph. As a result of this arrangement, for 1 month, I have noticed that my grades are declining due to not being able to get enough sleep. Say what kind of accommodation? I feel that I would only be able to study well if I would be partnered with a new roommate, which will be more cooperative, or better, if you have available room just for myself, single room, without anyone to share it with, that will be appreciated. Yun ang iyong. So, sinample ko na yan dito. Okay? I currently reside in the College House of Residence and I'm writing to request a change of accommodation. So, sino ka? I'm currently residing in the College House of Residence. Ikaw ay residente ng dormitory. Ikaw ay estudyante. I am writing to request a change of accommodation. Sinabi mo yung purpose. At the moment, I share the room with Mia Khalifa. Although she and I really get on well as people, we have very different studying habits. She works best at night and often studies until 3 or 4 a.m. Of course, she has the lights on and eats, both of which disturb my sleep. Punta tayo sa kabilang paragraph. Namali lang to ha. Next paragraph na to. I, on the other hand, prefer to wake up on the break of dawn and study before going to college. After 2 weeks of this arrangement, I find that I'm constantly tired as a result of not being able to sleep well, and this in turn is adversely affecting my studies. I feel that I would only be able to study well if I have a single room and do not have to share. Given these extenuating circumstances, I would be grateful if you could arrange this for me. Thank you for taking time reading my letter. I apologize for any inconvenience that this will cause you, and I look forward to hearing from you soon with some good news. Should you need to get in touch, I'll be more than glad to receive a call from you. You can reach me at 0927-886-7745. Yours faithfully, Lexilor student. Pwede mo rin pirmahan yan kung naka-pen and paper base ka. Pero dahil hindi ka naka-pen and paper base, wala na talagang sign. No? Eto, nag-migrate ka daw sa ibang bansa. Susulatan mo yung kaibigan mo na ibang bansa din dun sa bansa na yon. Tell him or her, kung napili mong lalaki o babae yung kaibigan na yon, bakit mo napili yung bansa na yon. I-describe mo daw kung saan ka nakatira, ano yung itsura ng tahanan mo, and propose a meeting with your friend. So anong uri ng letter ito? This is a letter of invitation. You are going to invite your friend to meet somewhere or perhaps meet in your house. So, dear blank, ikaw na bahala magsulat. Dear Brian, I just arrived here in Shanghai 3 days ago. And I have to say, I did not expect it to be so cool here. This makes me miss the tropical heat in the Philippines so much. It is a good thing that I always have a piece of the Philippines here, since I have friends like living here as well. I wrote this letter to invite you a simple get-together a week or 2 from now. If I'm not mistaken, you told me that you live in the downtown area of the city, although I think you were slightly exaggerating when you talked about how noisy it is there. I consider the slight probability that you might be telling the truth. I followed your advice and decided to rent a flat in the outskirts of the city because my work is close to the area. The place is a bit shabby, but it has its charms. The neighbors are friendly and my house is close to the roads, to the shops, and to work. Honestly, the only flaw I can think of is that the place gets eerily quiet. I miss the Rucos we used to make together in our office back in Moraita to somehow make my new pad more reminiscent of what once was. I'm commanding as a friend to drop by here soon. I will cook your favorite rice dish in insane quantities if you promise to visit me. Thank you for saying, in advance for saying yes, my very good friend, Love, Richard. Yan, kikita na ulit si Brian. See? Informal yan. So, activity, ito, bumili ng laptop. Napakadami kong sample dyan. So, kumain ka, pakipicturean to. Ito yung assignment nyo ngayon. Sa mga nasa Zoom, paki-take ng screenshot. Ito, kaya ako gusto kong ipa-assignment kasi madaming nagkamali dito before. No? Yung topic, you had a good meal in a local restaurant with your family. Write a letter to the newspaper. karamihan ng gumawa na to, ng letter na to, sumusulat sila sa restaurant, nagpapasalamat sila sa restaurant, ang galing-galing nyo, restaurant. Pero ang susulatan mo talaga is yung newspaper. Bakit mo susulatan yung newspaper? Ano bang tawag sa uri ng letter na to? Letter of review. Parang i-advertise, sabi mo, oh, ang ganda na itong restaurant na to, nakainan ko to, sana ma-feature nyo rin to sa inyong, para makita ng marami. Ito naman, kumakain ka daw sa college cafeteria every lunchtime. Pero sa tingin mo, may mga dapat daw baguhin dito. In your letter, explain what you like about the cafeteria. So, after introduction, yung susunod na paragraph, ito yung mga positive tungkol sa cafeteria. Ano ba mga positive dun sa cafeteria? Bilis. Ang tawag natin dun ay convenience. Bakit convenient daw yung cafeteria? May putya, pagbaba mo ng hagdan, nandun na. Kaysa lalabas ka pa, lalakad ka pa, init-init, no? Mamasahe ka pa, punta ka pa ng mall. Paka inconvenient. Babalik ka in an hour, order ka pa, ang tagal, sabay-sabay yung lunch break. So, kaya na-appreciate niyo yung cafeteria kasi nga, it's very convenient. And the food, tsaka yung mga servers doon, yung mga helpers doon, talagang friendly, kakilala nyo na. No? Kuya, bigyan mo nga ako ng isang ganito, utang muna, di ba? O, kilala mo na sila eh. Ano daw yung problema sa cafeteria? Crowded? Kasi, paano mo babaguhin yung crowded? Di mo naman sila pwedeng palayasin. Kasi yun din yung magiging improvement eh. So, hindi ako magka-crowded. Oh, madumi, pwedeng marumi. Para ang suggestion natin, linisin. Ano pa? Hindi na mainit yung pagkain. So, anong solusyon? Initin. So, para sa akin, ang napili ko dito na problema sa cafeteria, yung exhaust. Bakit? Yung amoy ng ulam, nagsisirculate sa loob ng cafeteria, mga estudyante kayo, syempre, yung mga chicks kayo, naaamoy kayo, amoy kang paksiw, amoy kang sisig, amoy kang langgunisa, di ba? So, yung exhaust, i-improve natin. Ano pa? Yung rusty chairs. Oh, makalawang. Siyempre, nakaputing uniform kayo, hindi na nakakagwapinis yun paghapon. Kasi nga, may kalawang, hindi nakatabit, di ba? So, anong suggestion para improve? Pinturahan. Tsaka magkabit ng exhaust. Saan tayo kung pera? Diba? Siyempre, address mo rin yan. Pwede kayong magkaroon ng fun run, mga event sa school, at saka cook fest. Yung mga lilikom nating budget ay gagamitin natin for improvement. Tulad ng repainting ng chairs at pag-install ng exhaust fans. Diba? Tapos ang problema. Oh, thank you so much for taking time reading my letter. I hope that you could study my suggestions well. If you need more information, I'll be more than willing to drop by your office to give you the draft of my plan. Pwede mo din idagdag. Ayan, TV. Ito yung kumain sa restaurant. Ito kay Mr. Cotto. Gym. Minor accident. Puro mga 10 minutes ko lang itong pinagagawa eh. 7 minutes nga lang to. So, gagawa ko ulit ng bago. So, basahin nyo na lang yan ha, sa bahay. Daming sample. Oh. Tingnan nyo kung gaano kadami. Umuulan ng sample.
Yung ganyan, sa task 1 lang.
Task 1 lang. So, may task 2 ka pa. Ha? Huwag kang gagamit nun. Kailan ka lang magtutuhom it may concern? Kapag naka-indicate Yan. Mga nasa Zoom, share ko lang itong document. Yan, nakikita nyo na. Layout. Orientation. Gawin natin landscape. Lakihan natin. Yung. Home. Gawin natin si 8. You have been on a trip where you had a really helpful tour guide. Write a letter to the tour company manager. In your letter, may bullet points. Balik. Describe the tour. Say what you liked about the tour guide and suggest a way that this excellent service could be rewarded. $7.37, let's go. Dear Sir / Madam. Good day. I am one of the tourists who joined the group of visiting Thailand last December. I am writing this letter to commend the amazing experience my family and I had, all thanks to Mr. Jerwin Tan, our tour guide that time. Describe the tour. We arrived at the airport late at night of December 16, 2024. Your company arranged the tour, including our airport pickup. I was not actually expecting that anyone would take us to our hotel, since it was really already late. But Mr. Jerwin Tan personally came to welcome us and took us to our hotel. From then, everything went great. All thanks to him. Say what you like about the tour guide. Jerwin is a very energetic tour guide. The December tour was my second time in Bangkok. And I actually get bored with the usual historical discussions, but our tour guide used several fun methods to make every stop of our visit exemplary. He is also very prepared for everything. As he even gave us a Band-Aid when my son hurt his finger. A truly commendable character. I believe that your company would garner more positive feedbacks due to your guides, especially Mr. Jerwin Tan. That is why I would also like to recommend that you acknowledge him and all your hardworking by increasing their salary or perhaps giving them more paid leaves to refresh them for the next tours. Thank you so much. For taking time reading my letter. If you have any questions, please feel free. Contact me anytime. I hope that you could grant my request for Mr. Jerwin and his colleagues. More power to your company. Nakalimutan yung mga tuldok. Sincerely, Kevin Mangalabnan. Right. 11:37, 11:45, 8 minutes akong nag-type. With 276 words. Yung mga papalitan ako dyan, pwedeng tanggalin pa. So, ganun po ang paggawa ng letter. May mga samples po tayo dyan na pwede nyong basahin mamaya pag-upload ko ng link ng Drive. So, may mga tanong pa po ba tayo? Jam, Jeneline, Liz, Edwin, Bernadette. Kung wala, may assignment na kayo. Have a nice day. God bless and good luck.